Did you know April 2026 ends with an ancient magic that no one is talking about? I almost missed it myself. But when I took a look at April's last 3 days and the alchemy that's happening then, well, it was clear that I had to share it with all my magical pagan, Wiccan, Druidic, you know who you are, all my magical and mystical friends. Because what if I told you that I discovered the hidden origins of those watchers who witness our rites from the four directions just by looking up at the stars in the real sky? I've been a pagan for 30 years, and no one could ever explain to me what we were calling into our circle. And believe me, I asked. So stick with me because I am going to spill the magic tea and put you in charge of your circle and your personal power leading up to this full moon, which is going to be on the 1st of May. Hi, my name is Beth Hansen, and I have been studying and working with true sidereal astrology for the past 2 years. And I'm honored to be the guide for you about weaving this magic with the power of Mother Earth. Because if we don't bring it down here, we never have access to it. And it's by looking at the 13 constellations, that's right, 13 of the zodiac in their true size and placement, that we get started. So during the last 7 days of April, Jupiter is in Gemini, Venus and Uranus are in Taurus, the Sun is in Aries, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, and also Chiron are all in Pisces. And if this is all new to you, go ahead and click the link below to get my free PDF, Unlock the New Zodiac, and I'll get that over to you ASAP. So be sure to comment Zodiac Unlocked so I know you got the details of what's really happening in the real sky. Now, let's look at those magical connections that are happening at the end of April by looking at the true sidereal charts in detail. So beginning on Sunday, 2026, as you can see on the left-hand chart there, everything is converging on the south node, including the moon being conjunct that day. Now we do have both, so that is happening in Leo, and we are emphasizing the feelings of everything that is pointing towards that, which does include what's called a yod, because we've got a couple of quincunxes coming from one in Pisces is coming from Saturn in Pisces. So that is the architect with all the intensity and feelings that's happening right there. And then the other thing that's happening is we have the other side, which is Capricorn, has Pluto in it, and that's another quincunx pointing at that south node, emphasizing the need to renovate, discover, uncover what is no longer serving and how best to move forward. And the other main aspect shape that's going on is this lovely T-square, which is coming from both Venus and Uranus in Taurus. Now, Uranus is an outer planet, and he really is speaking to and from the stars and amplifying and discerning and projecting everything in a way that is both expansive and networked. Now, when we've got that conjunct with Venus, who's all about beauty and values and love, she is in her home there. She is in her sign of Taurus. She rules Taurus. So she is very much in charge of what's happening here. So the pressure is on the nodes, and the pressure is on how are we going to deal with our values? What are we reprogramming in alignment with the North Node in Aquarius, which is all about yearning and striving for and working towards a better future for all of humanity. Now, while all of this is going on, we do have Jupiter adding a lot of energy into both uh, Mercury and Mars in Pisces. And this is via square saying, hey, we got to take care of this. We need to work on this. And at the same time, he is trine down to Black Moon Lilith. So Jupiter trine Black Moon Lilith, getting that outer voice, which is in opposition to Uranus. Uranus speaks for the outer stars and outer planets and brings those codes in, while Black Moon Lilith is screaming the best she can to make sure that creation includes the divine feminine. Now, how did that go for you? Pretty intense stuff happening, right? Well, comment below with what's resonating for you. I really want to know. And while you're down there, if you haven't already, go ahead and click on the link below to unlock the new Zodiac to get that free PDF. It really will help you acclimate to what's going on in the real sky. And by the way, I also have a free chart calculator there, so you can take a look at that and see where your planets land according to what's happening astronomically in the constellations. So next, we're going to dive into the key to welcoming the power of the stars into your next ritual or into your home by looking at these final charts. Now, as we move on to Tuesday, the 28th, what we have here is a heck of a lot more going on. This is what happens when the moon is on the move. As you can see, she has moved into our friend Virgo, the biggest sign in the zodiac, and moon will be there through the end of the month. So that's a very big deal indeed. And in fact, it's going to be there for the full moon. Yes, we are having a second full moon in Virgo. And this happens because it takes up so much of the ecliptic. So it's big goddess energy, big mother energy. And at the same time, now the moon is, at around noon Central Standard Time, is making a trine to Venus and to Uranus in Taurus. So the moon in an earth sign contacting earth and air in another earth sign. This is a big deal because, as you can see, it looks like it's forming a doorway. You see that double threaded X marking the spot there because the moon is now opposing your Neptune and Saturn in Pisces. But as it's doing that, it's shaking hands with Black Moon Lilith, which has moved from balanced Libra, even though, she is sort of the primal scream of the divine feminine. She's just moved into Scorpio, where she will be for the rest of the month as well. So there's that intensity happening, and she is creating her own T-square to the nodes. So that's a very big deal. Now, as we move on to Thursday, April 30th, this is where we really see what's happening with these two squares. These two T-squares have come together in order to form a beautiful, big mystic square. And what's happening here is that this mystic square is forming an incredible scene here with the four royal stars of Persia are part of the 4 points of this. Now, it's not exactly on them. I do believe that the only one that is on that right now is Black Moon Lilith, is really close to Antares, which is the Watcher of the West. And so this is actually day 3 and the final day where we have this configuration of this mystic square. So it's the third and final day. So that's what I was talking about, the 3 days. This mystic square is uniting all 4 elements in fixed signs. Now, some say you can't do magic with fixed signs, as like, yeah, you can, because that means whatever you do will be fixed into place. So you don't do alchemy unless the sky is connected this way with all 4 signs. So when you are thinking about that, just remember that this is all part of, because we do have the nodal axis as part of this, and that is crossing that creative basket, I should say, of our outer planets. And with that, we've got Neptune in Pisces in the center, reaching out to Pluto in Capricorn on one side, and Uranus and Taurus on the other. And this basket of energy, as Uranus connects through trine to Pluto in Capricorn, these outer planets represent the collective. This is a collective energy. This is collective magic that's happening here because it is working with the lunar nodes, which in the day-to-day, in the mundane chart, is for everybody, and especially because of the North Node in Aquarius. So this basket will continue, but this mystic square will fade away. So make the most of. So whether you're setting up an altar or casting a circle and you want to align with this ancient magical tradition, then you can call on each of these royal stars to discover the direction and attune with the element. Aldebaran is the watcher in the east, which is in the constellation of Taurus, which represents fixed earth. Fomalhaut is the star that is the watcher in the south, and that is in the constellation Piscis Austrinus, which sits beneath the constellation of Aquarius, fixed air. Antares is the watcher of the west, which is in Scorpio, fixed water. Regulus is the watcher of the north, which is in Leo, fixed fire. When you set things up and when you're ready to do your magic or ritual, be sure to call these in according to the directions with love and reverence. And when you're finished with your magical working or ritual, be sure to thank them for their presence and bid them hail and farewell, so you can close your circle and you can release that energy that you just raised out into the world. Now, I just scratched the surface here in working with these 4 fixed stars, and there are deeper meanings for each of them. Comment below if you deep dive, if you want me to explore that in a video, because there's lots of lore and myths that are surrounding these guardians of the heavens. And now that you know how April 2026 ends with ancient magic that no one is talking about, you might just be wondering if there are any other 2026 predictions that mainstream astrology isn't telling you. Well, I've got you covered. Just click on this link right up here to this video, and I will see you there. Blessed be, namaste, and all that jazz.